It's those hardliners chanting death to America who've been most opposed to the deal. They're making common cause with the Republican caucus.
And apparently Senator Chuck Schumer, in lockstep with that caucus that does not like this Iranian deal. Ben Stein, we have to add a few more Democrats to that list, actually quite a few more. What's going on?
Well, it's interesting. AOL, which has Huffington Post, explains it all. They're Jews, and that explains that they're Jews, and therefore they're not loyal. My own feeling is that that's what the Huffington Post, AOL, is saying. It's shocking. But what I'm saying, with all due respect, is this is an act of great statesmanship and courage by Mr. Schumer. I think it's an act of great intelligence. God bless his soul, and God bless America. And this man is a man to be reckoned with.
All right, he might very well be, but or I could be very cynical, Charlie Gasparino, and read into it political calculation that he knows the votes are not there to override a presidential veto, and he gets it both ways.
I think I agree with part of that. I also think that Chuck Schumer heard it from his constituents. I know that for a fact, because I know a lot of these constituents who basically said, in New York, you do this, you lose me, okay? And they put it point blank. And when he showed up at meetings with other Jewish philanthropists and people in the city, money guys in the city, he was told, you are selling Israel down the river, and we will never forgive you.
There was a march down the street from here.
And basically, he listened to them. Now, the other thing is, and I just wonder, can they rejigger this plan where they come back, do something to it, where Chuck Schumer comes back and says, okay, now that they fixed a few things, I'm for it. I just wonder if that's in the cards.
I don't think they're going to do that.
Even with these Democrats have turned, though, and some are obvious, some are not, but the numbers still beg against a two-thirds majority in either the House or the Senate. That's to watch for, and we're nowhere near that.
We're nowhere near it, but the notion, first of all, you don't have to be Jewish to be opposed to this Iranian nuke deal. I know I'm completely opposed to it. I think it's destructive, and it's...
You're not Jewish?
Yeah. No, not anymore.
That would be
come see Rabbi Ben to get,
be our Ben O. Stein there, but go ahead.
But you don't have to be Jewish to be opposed to it. And moreover, the idea that anyone who is opposed to it is in the same page as those in Iran saying death to America. I mean, that is the lowest blow. President Obama was desperate this week. He spent an hour rambling, trying to sell this thing to Congress and the American people, selling the disingenuous notion that if it wasn't this deal, it's going to be war. He is desperate right now, and a lot of people might follow Chuck Schumer's lead. Right now, it doesn't seem like it, but it wouldn't be a surprise to me if a couple other people had epiphany that this is a bad deal.
And about a week ago, a key advisor to the Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei said in an interview with Al Jazeera that there was no access to military sites. It was absolutely forbidden access from UN inspectors, period. And that's final. So that's what they think about this deal. We're entering into a deal that they will never, ever abide by.
All right, we don't know that for sure, but Jessica, what we do know for sure is that the president chose the venue of American University in the summertime as John F. Kennedy more than 50 years ago, and compared it with what John F. Kennedy was pitching at the time. Do you think John F. Kennedy talking about a deal with the Soviets, and even though it might be very hard to prove, is analogous to a deal with the Iranians that might be equally hard to prove?
I mean, I think it's a stretch, but I can see where they were coming from on it, and there certainly are some similarities. I think the president certainly sees this as a centerpiece of his presidency. It's something he's been working on for the last 8 years.
Well, hold on, that's not what I asked.
John
F. Kennedy wanted to scale back what was a nuclear buildup on the part of us and the Soviet Union, right? Now, this president wants to scale back the nuclear weapons of another country, the nuclear potential of another country. It's like a banana republic with a tin pot dictator versus what was essentially our equal in military power, or close to it, more than 50 years ago. Is there even a comparison?
I think we're still talking nuclear weapons, and we're talking about sort of evil dictatorships in the way that, and people who hate America. And I mean, neither were trustworthy.
We're still talking about human beings. We're still talking about American University, and we're still talking about a hot summer. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Ben
Stein, what do you think of that?
Well, with the greatest respect, they could tell immediately if the nuclear test ban treaty had been violated. They could tell that instantly. Right. Not true with Iran. The next thing we're going to see is a vaporized Israel, God forbid.
All right, when we come back here, all this time I thought I only had to pay for my kids' college, and that, by the way, wasn't a sure thing. From what I'm hearing that Hillary Clinton has planned next week, I'm going to have to pay for quite a few others, and so are you.